had read one of your papers earlier today citing that maintenance contributes to roughly about 17% of losses at a given plant that's caused by 17% of losses caused by downtime from maintenance.
Yeah.
So what do you think are the biggest contributors towards downtime that can be mitigated in a plant?
Well, there's two major contributors, at least from a manufacturing perspective. I can't speak to other industries. My background's manufacturing. But from a manufacturing perspective, it's speed losses and minor stops. The problem we have today is we don't understand losses. We only have two buckets. It's called unplanned downtime and planned downtime. And there's so many things that are tied into those two buckets, we don't break them down to try to understand them. So what ends up happening is this unplanned downtime bucket gets thrown in the lap of maintenance, and maintenance gets the blame. And so even though they're about 17% of the problem, they get the blame for almost 100% of the problem. For example, maintenance should be responsible for breakdowns. But how do you define a breakdown? And I don't think we get that granular. You know, a breakdown by TPM definition is 10 minutes or more and requires a part, right? So any stop that's 10 minutes or less is normally owned by operations as considered a minor stop. And we really don't look at those, right? The box machine jams for 1 minute, we unjam the box, we push the button, we keep running. That happens, 400, 500, 600 times a day on one machine. We're losing 3 or 4 hours of downtime due to 1 minute stops. But we have that 30-minute breakdown, and the maintenance manager sits in a meeting in the morning and has to explain, where did the throughput go, right? And that's because we don't understand losses, and speed losses are the same. Those are more related to design issues with engineering. But yeah, what I've done is TPM is close to 50 years old now, and they came up with the OEE metric and some other metrics behind it, what's called the 6 big losses. But no one's really looked at that and decided to break that down even more or into smaller chunks. And then there's another piece called the 16 major losses. So what I've done is I've broken those up even more to get more granular. And I have now what's called the 30 major losses. We have a white paper on it on our website at ReliabilityX.com if you want to check it out. And then OEE, I add a 7th loss, which is called a process failure. Process failure being 10 minutes or more and doesn't require a part. So for example, e-stop isn't located in the right place, but an operator accidentally hits it, right? And we can't figure out why the machine's down. They call maintenance. It takes us 15, 20 minutes to recover, but all we did was pull out the e-stop and hit the reset button and start up again, right? So that's not a maintenance issue. That's an operational issue, right? And so understanding those losses helps you bucket them so you know what to prioritize and what to go after. And so what I found doing loss analysis, I'd say, I don't know, it's over 50 lines now that I've done loss analysis on in 8 or 9 different facilities. What I found is maintenance is only about 7% of the problem there. And 50 to 70% of the losses are speed losses and minor stops. So if you really want to gain throughputs, then you focus on those areas that are your big buckets of losses. Yeah. And that's what I do. So
where do you see some companies getting it really right? What do they do that's different than everyone else?
Well, I can vouch for a facility that I worked in, and knowing that there's elements of everything that you have to do right. For example, in the maintenance department, they plan, schedule work, kitted all their jobs, were very effective, very efficient with their work there, right? And on the operations side, they were doing their operator care PMs, taking care of the equipment. See, if we mitigate the little things up front through operations, like missing bolts, lubrication, those types of things, they don't lead to the bigger things,
Yeah.
which cause breakdowns. So if we nip it there early on, then you start eliminating your breakdowns. We had a zero breakdown facility, zero injuries, quality was great. And we freed up so much capacity that they shut down 6 of the 15 lines because we didn't have demand. And so we took all the practices, all the best practices we could find, and tried to implement them in our facility. We wanted to be the best. And I think that culture has to be ingrained, the desire to be the best.